Hello and welcome to the Cultured Bumpkin. And this little training will be on if you're an author. This is how um, if you're an author, this is how you can make your book into an audiobook. And there's a lot of reasons why some people want to narrate themselves, and there's also people that they don't want to narrate it. They want another professional to do it. But in this little training, I want to tell you what little I know about how you can do that. Now, I have narrated a lot of audiobooks. I'm an author. I've narrated my own audiobooks, and I want to share that with you because if you're like me in the past, maybe you've had you've had a book, but maybe you don't have the funds to pay someone else. Well, that's totally fine. You can you can do it yourself if you want to. So I was going to go over some questions that a lot of people have, and then if anyone else has a question, Andy Harvey, oh, that's the best. Andy Harvey's the best of the best. Um, so yeah, let's go over a couple questions that I get asked a lot, and they have pretty straightforward, simple answers. And if someone has a question, feel free to ask. And if not, I'm going to just carry on. Now, pretend like you are absolutely new. You don't know any of this, right? Um, like you're not sure. You don't know what you don't know. Hey, what's up, big chunk? We need to hang out, by the way. I was talking to somebody today about you. We need to do a voiceover session over in Columbus and at a new studio over there. And I think that would be really cool. All right, so if you're going to do audiobooks, now whether you're an author and you're doing your own, or you are you just want to narrate and that sounds fun to you, it's going to be kind of the same thing. The first thing you need are, you need a computer. If you are watching this, you're probably on your phone. Anybody on here not on your phone? Because I bet you every single one of y'all is on your phone right now, and that's normal. So you would need, a tablet, possibly a laptop or desktop is ideal, and that's going to be what you want to do. I like a laptop just because it's more portable, and you could like record here and then take it somewhere else and edit, or do whatever you want. Or one of those little new things like the little Apple thing. If the iPad has a USB plug-in, which I don't know if all of them do, then you can. As long as it has a USB plug-in, you're probably in business. But ideally, you need a USB most likely, at least. Okay, so you need a computer. You need something to plug in. You need a microphone, right? You need a good microphone because no matter how glorious your luscious voice is, it will not pick up um, properly to put onto an audiobook, get onto Audible, if you don't have a good piece of equipment to receive your luscious voice. You know what I mean? So you need a microphone. This one, Braden, is a uh, Warm Audio 47 WA47 Junior, which is a great one. It's great. It's about $250. The NT1A is fantastic. The TLM 102 and 103, and anything by Neumann TLM 102. The Sennheiser, which is a shotgun mic, it's thicker, but it looks like this, right? It's much more directed than these. Those are great. There's all kinds you could get. The main thing is it needs to sound good, right? Another one is this one right here. These Shure mics, and there's several different models. This is the MV7, and then there's the SM7 and stuff like that. These are dynamic mics, and these are better for like environments that you can't control all of the the aspects of the sound treatment. So if you were going to have a, um, let's say you went to a conference and you wanted to do some interviews while you're there, dynamic mic's the way to go. These kind right here, these pick up everything. So you really need to be in a sound treated space for them to work properly. Whereas a dynamic mic, a podcaster mic, would be better if you're going to do voiceover. But you could use any of these for an audiobook. You know what I mean? You really could. Um, so I think a good one is going to be Huckleberry Life. What's going on? Hello from Mississippi. Your next door neighbor. Um, um, you need an interface. Now I've got one. Let's see. Where's one? Okay, here's one. As you can tell, I've got different things laying around. So this is a Audiobox USB 96. That's around $100, I think. So to get your studio set up, it'll be a few $100, probably, anywhere from 300 to 500 with good quality yet lower range stuff. But that's probably all you're going to have to buy. I think on a $500 investment, I made that back over hundreds of times, right? So you need a computer, you need a microphone, and you need a DAW, a digital audio workspace. And that can be Audacity, which is free for PC, for Mac, even Linux, if you're a weirdo. And then, that it doesn't have to look good; it just has to sound good. But there are tons of great programs out there. GarageBand that comes preloaded on a lot of Macs is going to be a great choice for an audiobook. The big ones like Adobe Audition, Pro Tools, Twisted Wave. There's plenty. If you can use it and you can use it comfortably, then that's what you want to do, right? So that's the third thing. So far, if you're an author, you want to make your own audiobook, or you just want to get into narration, you need a computer, you need a microphone, and that includes the interface, to hook it up. And you need a DAW, a digital audio workspace. Fourth thing you need, and this might be the most important thing if you're going to get into narration, is a sound treated space, right? So this is, I've got some little sound tiles, and these are, this works really good for what I do, but you don't have to start there. I started in my closet, right? Just if you have hanging clothes, if you have pillows, if you have blankets, you can make you a studio, even if it's a temporary one. Um, but I would say just start, doing it. If you wanna get into recording, if you want to get into voice acting, don't worry about hello, what's going on? Uh, I forgot Ashley. Okay, I checked your pulled your thing up. Checked it. Good to see you, Ashley. Um, if you want to get into those, into narration of any kind, of any genre, you just get out and start doing it. Pull out your iPhone and record yourself. You could be driving, you could be, you know, talking to a friend, whatever. Record yourself, performing, whether it's an accent, whether it's reading a road sign or the phone book or the shampoo bottle or the toothpaste, whatever. Just read something. It could be as boring as you want it to be, and then listen back to it. Did you believe you? That kind of thing. And just practice. If you're an author and you want to, or let's say I want to narrate an audiobook, whether you're an author or not, but you want to say, um, was listening to the teacher audio. Very cool, very cool. Um, you would train for it, right? You're not, voice actors aren't born. You know what I mean? You got to practice. So, just like a marathoner is not born. If you were to say, let's do the St. Jude Marathon in Memphis in this coming December 2025, you would start training right now probably for this event way off in the distance. And I think that an audiobook, doing your audiobook is like that. So if you're an author and you say, I want to do my own narration, whether it's because you want to save money, because you want to make more money once it goes up, just whatever the reason is. There's plenty of reasons that you might want to narrate your own work. Um, that's okay. Just start practicing today. Um, I sound so much better in my head. Well, that's great. We'll get to where you sound like in your head as it comes out of your mouth, because you are the only person in the world that sounds to you like you do. Literally everyone else in the world hears you differently than you hear yourself, because you're hearing yourself from like deep back in your head. Um, Everyone else hears it as it actually is. Have your Pride and Prejudice and Persuasion saved on my what? Fantastic. I think you'll like them. I hope you like them. If you're a Pride and Prejudice fan, definitely check out my YouTube. Um, the that it's on my list. I think I'm doing Sense and Sensibility next. As far as the next one, I'll start. But I'm in the middle of. I finished The Wind in the Willows last night, and then I'm in the middle of Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court, and then what else? Treasure Island. So I'm usually like doing multiple ones at a time. But anyway, that's on the list at some point. Okay, so back to it. So you got the 4 things you need to get started in voiceover. You got a computer, microphone, digital audio workspace like Audacity or GarageBand. I say go for the free ones until you figure out what you want, and then you can buy a subscription or a program. That's just how I view things because I'm a cheapskate. And then the sound treated place to record. The you want to Braden? Yes, uh, great question. I'll get to that in just a second. Your um, your sound treated space needs to have, as we mentioned earlier, soft surfaces all around. You don't want any hard surfaces. You don't want, like, a bathroom, let's say, is quiet from outside noise, but it's terrible for recording because it's echoey. So the sound waves hit the wall, they bounce all around, they distort, and then it causes that echo. So when you talk through the mic, it comes back through multiple times, each time distorted, and then they start building on each other, and that's how you get that awful echoey sound. What you want is there to be soft surfaces around the mic. That way, your beautiful, luscious voice goes through it one time and then never to be heard again, as far as it diffuses away, right? But it doesn't come back through the mic. So if you are narrating your own book or anybody else's, you got to just think in terms of soft is good, hard is bad. And then you can do, and even if you're not doing audiobooks, maybe you narrate for your YouTube channel, or some project for work or school or what have you. Those are always going to be, that's a good rule of thumb. Soft is good, hard is bad. Stack some pillows around you, get some hanging clothes, etc., etc. All right, Braden, any advice on getting yourself out there in terms of getting voice acting gigs? Yes, practice every single day. Do what I was saying earlier. Pull out your phone and practice every single day. You ought to be practicing. Um, there's the guys that you see in the NFL. They have a high level of natural athletic talent for sure, but in the vast majority of cases, they have been working hard since the time they were in Pee Wee football at being a professional. So if you want to be a professional, you need to treat yourself like a professional and treat voice acting like a professional, and literally use every chance you can to be recording stuff. Take Jane Eyre. Start reading it. Read it out loud. Record it. Play it for somebody. Put it on YouTube. Did I believe me? You know what I mean? Like, does it sound good? And if not, okay, let's try something else. But the main thing is just keep practicing, practicing. Uh, I do improv with my daughter every day and speak in a British accent. That's fantastic. That's a great way to do accents. Now, I would say you need to specifically work on reading because that's different than thinking something or memorizing a line. You know, if you know a Shakespeare monologue or a Bible verse or a poem, if you have it committed to memory, it's going to hit your tongue differently than if you're actually sight reading, right? You need both, but definitely keep doing that. Keep practicing in the car, but also definitely do stuff where you are looking at the words as you read. Slow down. You are going to read slower, or you think you're going to be going faster than you're talking, right? Like when you're talking, you're probably going faster than you realize. And then if you're nervous at all, it starts to speed up. That brings on tension to your vocal cords and in the listener. And you don't want that. So if you're narrating your audiobook, slow down. Um, Another thing is to let's see, where's my little list at? Oh, well, this is a to me a no-brainer. Huh. How to Be a Voice Actor in 5 Simple Steps by Jake. There's my book. You should buy that. You should read it. It's going to have more of what I'm telling you right here for free. All right. The um, as far as sites to get work, right? If you are, um, yeah, Daisy, I think you'll enjoy it. There's just a lot of good stuff in there. It's straightforward. It's written for um, the beginner in mind, not other voice actors in mind. So I don't care if my compadres are impressed with it. I care if you're impressed with it and get good info that you can use to make money for yourself. Maybe change your career, change your life, whatever, like I did. And because this is not a book of philosophy, this is my story. This is how I did it. And I really think that anybody can do it if you do certain things, right? So if once you have the things you need for your studio and you got it set up, you got a little closet, there's some hand clothes. Maybe you put some little. You can get these off of Amazon, by the way. Um, and I'm gonna try to set up like a little shop to make it easy. But basically, you can go online and get this kind of stuff, like an inch or 2 inch. And they're vacuum packed and they come like 50 in a little bundle, and you cut it up with a knife and poof, they go everywhere. And then you just glue them to the wall or pin them to the wall or however you want to do it. And you can, if you've got a spare closet or something, that's perfect. It's all you need. This that I'm in right now is 5 by 7, and it's more than enough room. There's enough room to get up, stretch my legs. 5 by 7's plenty. So you could literally be in a closet that you probably would think is too small, and it's probably not too small. I mean, even if it's you open the door and just sit and you're still in the living area and you're facing the closet, even that would help a lot. Um, you can also do something like build a PVC pipe frame and then hang heavy moving blankets and stuff um, from it. I've seen literally everything. You can do like little zip ties along the top, or like there's a million ways to make your own studio without buying a $15,000 whisper room. Which, if you've got the money, go for it. But you know, most people are going to say, you know what, I'm going to try the closet first. All right, now another going back to practicing, another thing that you ought to be doing if you want to narrate audiobooks is, or any kind of voice acting, but specifically audiobooks, is listen to great narrations. Derek Jacobi reading The Wind in the Willows, Stephen Fry reading his books, the Mythos Heroes, about the Greek myths. And there's an example of an author reading his own work and the author being also a professional voice actor. And it's brilliant. Like, it's amazing. He does better than if he hired someone who didn't write the words. That's not always the case, because sometimes a good actor can break down the script and make it come alive more even than the author can. But if you're the author and you're trained, you can really do something special. And so that's I always encourage authors to do their own if they can, and also if they do a little bit of training. Like I would say, don't quite go for it without, like, pretend like it's a race and train for it, and then do it. Um, Listen to great narrations, imitate them. Now, here's a way of doing that, right? A way of doing that. What I just said. Listen to great narrations. Here is, um, oops. Here's a book, poems of John Keats, just classic literature. You could go in here. So get he's got a famous one called Ode to a Nightingale. It's a very famous one from the early 1800s, a romantic poem, Ode to a Nightingale, about a guy's under a tree and he's sort of thinking, talking to this bird up in the tree. Oh, you're so free, and I wish I was free and didn't have problems. And like it's a deep and beautiful poem. It goes through all kind of issues and that kind of thing. Well, you can find Benedict Cumberbatch reading it on YouTube. I'm sure it's pirated. It's not his channel or anything, but just type it in Ode to a Nightingale and you'll find some really good recordings. You'll find Stephen Fry reading it. You'll find me reading it. You'll find Tom Hiddleston reading it, I think. You'll find Ben Wishaw reading it. You can find a lot of different ones. And then a lot of guys, like myself with a small YouTube channel, and yet they just read it. They read it for their channel. You can find a lot of those. Uh, the little fellas like myself. I would listen to some of those, and the ones you like, say, okay, as you read along, all right, what is working here? Why do I feel that way? Why is it, you know, how is he inflecting? How is she pausing? Whatever. Look at an author, or a read along with a great author, and then listen to a great narrator, and then imitate it. Now you read it, and you can copy Benedict Cumberbatch exactly if you want to in inflection, even an accent. Maybe there's time to work on your accent too. You work on your British accent, because in audiobooks, the obviously the more accents you have, the more characters you have. Um, like if you have, you could have you know, here's a guy with a deep voice and he's from, the Midwest. Well, that same guy can be down from the South. That's the same voice, but that's two different characters. Or even, he's from across the pond and he's more like Jason Statham, whatever, however he talks. So it's like if you have an accent, then you can have different characters, even without really changing anything else about the voice. And then anyway, so um, the more the more variations you have to your voice, the more characters you can make. And if that's obviously a great thing if you've got an epic novel and there's 500 voices. Um, so listen to great poetry and stuff like that. Preferably something you can read along to. Um, Daughter has me doing even. That's great. Keep doing it. You know what I mean? The more accents, the better. I have done a lot of work in. I've done a um, British, audiobook before where it's a British narrator, but also all of the characters, and there were, I think, 56 main characters are all British. And so I was sort of trying to find different accents and study those a little bit. And I would get an actor. Oh, I like Sean Bean. I'll use his, and that kind of thing. Do it. There's nothing. Uh, you were not born where your accent is not your genetic inheritance. You can change it if you want to, and you can snap in and out of it on command if you practice it like anything else. Um, so keep doing that. Tell your daughter, good job. Uh, you know, push me. You could look on one thing that I like, especially for UK type accents, is look up the Graham Norton show on YouTube, and he has all these actors and stuff like that. And there's a lot of times you can see the British actor or actress. They have Americans on there too, but a lot of British people will be on there that maybe we don't see very much over here in the U.S. and listen to them. You know, Michael Caine talks different than Benedict Cumberbatch, who talks different than Graham Norton, who's an Irishman, or Sean Bean, who's from way up in the north, and he almost sounds Scottish, but not quite to us. Um, and just start making a note of those things. Like, okay, well, he sort of draws that sort of thing out a little longer, or she has whatever. So just make little notes of it, and then another thing I like to do is take a Shakespeare monologue. Let's say Sonnet 116, and then listen to five five or six different people that are really good do it, and just hear their take and hear their accent. Benedict can't say pingwings. I know that's pretty funny. Um, yeah, he made a whole documentary saying pingwings, and you can hear it on YouTube. I think it's pretty funny, and it's like the director was too scared to say like it's not penguin, it's like penguin, like penguin. But they never said anything, so the whole documentary is him saying, you know, the emperor penguin is, very. It was kind of funny. Um, but hey, if he can make a mistake, so can you, and it'll be okay. So yeah, keep practicing accents. Listening and reading along with is a great way to do it. YouTube is your best friend. I would say this cultured bumpkin is also your best friend. uh, there's a lot. I do a lot of classic poetry on there, so I would say check my channel to see if there's a little poem that you like or could use. But also keep looking. Um, Tom Hiddleston, if you Tom Hiddleston doing poetry, there's tons of his on there, and he's a magnificent poetry reader and audiobook narrator. So check into that as far as your training, right? And then let's see what else. Um, yeah, listen to great narrations, imitate, listen again, repeat, practice, practice, practice. Keep doing that. Um, yes, that kind of thing right there. Reading and doing an accent every time that there's a character. Do the accent, and then don't forget about the narrator, because the narrator is very important. That the narrator can't be boring. The narrator has to be another character. That's the fireside character that's bringing all the rest of the characters to life. So we want to make sure we don't focus so much on the characters that the audiobook narrator, the narrative is like, yeah, it's boring. It needs to be, it needs to, both need to be great and fit each other. Great example, Derek Jacobi. Check him out. Jacob with an I. Derek Jacobi. Absolutely incredible. It's musical how he talks. Musical. Um, And then, so let's say you got your studio, you're all practiced, you have your manuscript because you wrote it, um, and then you start going, and then um, you record it all, right? You dice it up into chapters, and there's some things that you have to do on the technical side as far as to get it onto Audible. Like the RMS has to be between -18 and -23, I think, and there has to be have a noise floor of -60. Like there's several little things you got to do, and it's easy to do, but it takes just a little bit of learning to make sure that each one of them has been mastered to that level. And then I would say use ACX or Authors Republic. I've used both of those to put as the author to turn a book into an audiobook. I've had great success. Both of them are great. And but there's a lot of them, so you can always do your research and find other ones. But I've had great success with ACX and Authors Republic. If you haven't written a book, but you just want to get into narration, definitely check out ACX. You could get on there tonight and audition for something. And you know what I mean? Like that's a really good one. There's a lot of stuff on there, a lot of auditions, and you can find what you want, set up your profile. People can come to you. I set up a profile, and pretty soon people are like, oh, could you, um, you know, could you do mine? You know, this will offer me a little contract without me even kind of auditioning. Like they just said, look, I like your voice. I want you to do it. Daisy, a great way to be, a great idea might be, um, and I don't know, are you an author? Do you have a book that you're wanting to do? If so, what I was going to say is, how about you do a couple other people's books first to get all your practice reps in, and then do your book. You know, um, so there's that. But then if you're just no, I'm not an author. I just want to narrate. Well, then you just start somewhere, and I would say, don't worry about. Um, okay, very cool. So yeah, I mean, I would say start training in that way, and then if you're working for somebody else, all of a sudden that becomes more um, of different or whatever because it's serious. It's someone's trying to make money with their baby, and you want to be good and do a good job. Um, author, and I was thinking there, you should definitely do it. You should definitely, certainly strongly consider it. And yeah, so yeah, get your studio set up, practice a lot, and then get on a good website that has good jobs and good, that where you can easily upload your files. And so, yeah, Kristen, what's going on? It's good to see you. Happy New Year. I mean, I know we're 2.5 weeks into this thing, but Happy New Year. If it's not too late, hope you're well. Um, 17, working on it for a couple weeks. Good deal. That's great. Well, while she's working on it, you can always be correct. I'm assuming you are. She's coercing you into being the narrator, because if so, while she's working on it, one, you could be practicing on her stuff, and two, you could be like um, what do you call it? Like getting practice reps in someone else's stuff. So yeah, definitely check out ACX. Definitely check out ACX. And good. Good. Well, in a way, we are. This is the new and improved FaceTime. The Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, Daisy. Um, Ashley, absolutely. Well, that's going to be it from me. If anybody has a question, let me know. And but other than that, yeah, that's kind of what I have. And I think that if you're new, that's going to help you, be a little shove in the right direction, at least to start looking for more opportunities and things like that. Um,